Hi, thanks for joining me today. This is the first podcast in the Living Sensationally series in which we explore the gifts of your senses while you take a break in your routines. I am Winnie Dunn, an occupational therapist and professor from the University of Kansas, where we study people's reactions to sensory experiences in their everyday lives. Today, I want to convince you that this topic matters. Let's see if I can succeed before you finish your coffee or tea. A fundamental truth is that sensation is all around us. In fact, our senses record every experience we have. When we talk with each other, when we use sensory words to describe our experiences, we might say how we like the cool breeze on our skin, or how the sound of screeching tires makes us wince, or how something is too sour or too sweet. We communicate with all these sensory words because that is how we create a picture for other people. Words like cool and sour help the other person understand what we experienced because they have experienced those sensations themselves. I think this is an easy concept for all of us to understand, so I'm sure you're wondering why we have a whole series of podcasts about living a sensational life. We could just stop here, agreeing that we all share our sensory experiences with our conversation, and that would be the end of it. Well, human beings are not a simple lot. While it is true that we communicate our experiences by using our senses, something else is also true. We don't all agree about those experiences. Something you might find too sour, I might enjoy because of its sourness. The ground might feel firm and cool to one person or gritty to another person. So even though technically the sensory characteristics are the same, each of us gets to decide how we react to those characteristics. And that is what makes this topic interesting. Research with babies, children, adolescents, and adults has shown us that there are 4 basic ways that people respond to sensory experiences. Imagine that I've invited 4 of you who are listening to taste a new and unusual food. Which type of response would you have? That is really interesting and delicious. Or, what is it? What does it taste like? Is it warm or cold? Where did it come from? Or, no thanks, I don't want to try it. No. Or, what? Oh, okay, what is it? Oh, yeah, thanks. You've probably been eating with friends when people have acted in all of these ways. The first person can't wait to try something new. The second person's extremely cautious about trying a new food. The third person isn't even willing to try the new food. And the fourth person misses the initial invitation and then goes ahead and tries it without much fanfare. Everyone has their own personal list of what foods they will or won't eat, and even whether they are willing to try new foods. Eating's a great example of our individual sensory patterns because eating involves smells, tastes, textures, temperatures, and appearances, of all of which can attract or repel us from the experience of eating. But eating is just one example of our unique reactions to sensations. Think about movement. Do you love the roller coaster rides, or do you prefer to hold the purses and jackets while other people ride? What about tags in your clothing? Do you notice them, cut them out, only buy t-shirts with printed labels in them? Many of your behaviors are rooted in your sensory experiences. Let's look at another example related to an object. Dinner plates can be made of any material, which forms their sensory characteristics. Some plates have roughly textured surfaces, while others are smooth. They can be any color, have a pattern, can be bright or muted. Plates weigh different amounts based on what the materials were that were used in crafting the plate. Each of these characteristics activate different sensory systems to code that particular plate's characteristics. We might say a plasticware plate is brightly colored, lightweight, and smooth. Sometimes it's easy to agree about the characteristics of an object, while at other times we might be surprised that someone described the plate differently than we would have described it. For example, when we describe a plate as heavy, what rules have we applied to decide this particular plate is heavy? We're probably thinking of all the plates we've held and deciding that this plate is heavier than most of the other plates. So, if we only held paper plates, then nearly every other plate would be heavy. However, if we held many earthenware plates, then we would be making a decision about whether this plate we are holding is nearly as heavy as those ceramic plates. We hold our personal experiences with objects in our memories, and we use them as measuring sticks to judge the physical world. That is how we decide how we will describe an object, and in each case, we use our senses to figure that out. We can also see the power of sensation by looking at advertising. Many companies harness the power of sensation to get us to vicariously experience their products. York Peppermint Patties proclaim, "Get the sensation." Pier 1 Imports invites customers to get in touch with your senses. Hanes has tagless underwear, and it's so popular that others are doing the same. The M&M company knows we love and hate sensations by telling us it melts in your mouth, not in your hands. So here's a project for you. Explain an experience you had today to a friend or a family member. Take note of how many senses you reference as you tell the story. Also notice whether your story contains sensory experiences that brought you joy or discomfort. Was the experience better because of the quiet? Worse because people were pressing against you in a crowd? If you want to know more, the book Living Sensationally, Understanding Your Senses has more ideas for you. You can also go to the Living Sensationally Facebook page or the Living Sensationally blog for more stories. The next time we meet here in podcast land, I will explain how those sensory systems work to log all of your experiences. I know you just can't wait. Live sensationally until then. This is Winnie Dunn, signing off.